Hey everybody, I wanted to take a few minutes here to share a video with you about giving a sample of your breath or blood. This video is going to identify specifically if you consented to a breath or blood test, odds are you gave a sample of your breath if you're in Tarrant County, Texas. Now, if you'll stick around, there's a couple of things I'm going to talk about in this video. Number one, there is a secret that I want to reveal to you that involves your defense for your particular case if you have picked up a DWI in Texas and you gave a breath test anywhere in Texas, and I'll reveal that to you. Very important during this pandemic. Secondly, if you stick around to the end of this video, I'm going to give you a free resource, the ultimate guide to your DWI defense in Texas. Now, that I want you to understand, if you have specific questions and if you need help defending your DWI, you would like to do a free case analysis, don't hesitate to call my office at 817-877-5200. Don't hesitate to call the Hampton Law Firm at 817-877-5200. Now, let's get back into where we were. What were we discussing? Now, let's talk about here when we talk about giving a breath test. If you consented to a sample, most likely you gave a breath test. Now, what is a breath test? Well, Tarrant County, they use, and most of the state of Texas uses these breath test instruments. Now, an instrument is no different than any other machine that's out there. If you don't operate and maintain them correctly, if it's not maintained regularly, these machines can break down. And so that's one of the first things we look at whenever you're defending a breath test DWI case in Texas is we need to look at the maintenance records. Was this maintained regularly? Can the police, can the state of Texas, the government prove that this breath test machine was operating properly? Now, I want to show you something. During the pandemic, during this period of time, there's an interesting letter here we obtained from the Texas Department of Public Safety that identifies, I want you to look at this for a minute. Take a look at this. If you see this, it says on April 2nd, the Office of the Scientific Director suspended the monthly inspection of breath alcohol testing instruments statewide. Now, why does that matter? That's critical. They suspended the actual in-person inspection of these breath test instruments, which makes them much less reliable. It could be that they were not maintained properly, and as a result of that, you need someone to look into this in depth for your DWI defense. Now, that's just the first one. Number one, was the actual breath test machine used in your case, was it operating correctly? Was it maintained according to standards? Number two, you can also attack certain procedures involved with breath test instruments. And that second point we look at is, was the breath test machine, or was the breath test procedure administered correctly? Now, the person who gave you that test is known as an intoxilizer operator. Now, that operator is required to comply with what is known as the 15-minute observation period. Now, let me read it to you from the code. Texas Administrative Code Title 37, Rule 19.3A1 says, quote, an operator shall remain in the continuous presence of the subject at least 15 minutes immediately before the test and should exercise reasonable care to ensure that the subject does not place any substances in the mouth. Let me give you an example. We had a client who was there waiting to give a breath test, and he was chewing gum. The breath test operator never even checked to see if he was actually had his mouth clear of any substance. We had another client who had some pretty bad indigestion, and he was having a hard time being able to clear his throat. Now the question comes up to say, well, why does any of that matter? Because here's why. Having something in your mouth, especially whether it's vomit, if it's indigestion, something from the digestive tract, any of that could cause an abnormally high, artificially high breath alcohol volume level whenever you blow into that instrument, when you blow into that machine. And as a result of that, if these protocols are not followed, it could end up being that your actual breath test could be excluded from evidence. It's critical that that is observed. That's the second way to attack your case. Now, I won't take any more of your time. I promised you that if you watch the video until the end, I will give you the free resource, the ultimate guide to your defense, your DWI defense in Texas. So all you have to do is click the link. Here, where am I at? Click the link, there we go. Click the link down here below, and as you click the link, it'll prompt you to give a little bit of information, and after you've given that information, we will send you over this ultimate guide. I'm telling you, it's like almost 5,000 words. It covers everything you could ever imagine related to your DWI defense in Texas. I encourage you to do so. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to call me at the Hampton Law Firm, 817-877-5200. Good talking to you. I look forward to meeting you if you need help with your DWI.